An old Buddha statue, known as the Ong-Bak, is located in the village of Ban Nong Pradu in rural northeastern Thailand. After thieves from Bangkok damage the statue and steal the head, the town's in despair. Ting, a villager with exceptional Muay Thai skills, offers to go to Bangkok to retrieve the stolen Ong-Bak head. Don, a heroin dealer who attempted to purchase an amulet in Nong Pradu the day before, is his lone lead. Ting goes to Bangkok with a bag full of money from his town. When he arrives, he must meet up with his cousin, Hum Lai, whose hair is now blonde, and he calls himself George. Hum Lai and his friend Wai Lek are con artists who cheat Yaba sellers in street bike races. Ting passes by but stops when he sees Hum Lai and beckons him. Hum Lai informs Ting that he is the wrong person and doesn't appear overjoyed to hear the name. Ting admits that she was overconfident and reveals that Hum Lai's father had indeed written him a letter. While all this is happening, Wai cracks a joke about learning Hum Lai's real identity because he had previously been going by a different one. The two men are then left alone to finish their work. Ting inadvertently drops his suitcase as Hum Lai is about to leave, and the sight of money from it enables Hum Lai to welcome him into his home. As soon as they go in, Hum Lai immediately persuades Ting to shower and tidy up, and Ting heads over. Before Ting can catch up with him, Hum Lai is already at the club and has placed a bet with the money while calling Muai to say he's on his way to a fight club. Don is there to see his employer, Kum Tao. He explains to Kum Tao that the locals wouldn't sell him the amulet, so he stole their Buddha's head in retribution. Kum Tao doesn't appear pleased with this, calling the head worthless before requesting that he leave. In the meantime, Hum Lai bets and loses the battle, and then Ting shows up and demands the money he stole. When Hum Lai gestures to the betting counter, Ting goes there to retrieve his money, but while on his approach, he jumps onto the stage and is treated as a challenger even though he doesn't appear interested. He defeats the champion in a single move, declines the prize money, and only then does he request the villagers' money, which he eventually receives. In another instance, Kem Tao also ends up losing many millions of dollars to his friend who had bet for Ting to win. Hum Lai, who had witnessed the entire contest, couldn't fathom Ting's decision to turn down the cash. Ting, though, claims he doesn't give a damn and is just concerned with finding Don and capturing Ong-Bak. Ting is irate because Hum Lai seems uninterested in this and only wants money. He then makes his way to a temple to pray there. At about the same time, when Hum Lai finally makes it home, he finds the letter his father had sent him informing that he had to insist Ting on his mission and that there was no money to offer to Hum Lai. Hum Lai, however, doesn't finish the letter before hurling it out of anger. Things deteriorate back in the village as the well is likely to dry up, which causes the already alarmed people great fear. Later, Hum Lai and Muai work together once more to cheat at a card game, resulting in her winning a sizable sum of money. When they do leave the club, they split the cash, and Muai takes it despite not being thrilled with her share of the money. However, when Peng arrives, Hunley is forced to steal Muai's money and partially settle his debt once more. Peng doesn't appear satisfied, so he and his men begin roughhousing Hum Lai and Muai. Fortunately, Ting is passing by, and despite his initial reluctance, he assists them in defeating Peng and his men. Hum Lai thanks Ting for his assistance as they leave and mentions helping Ting locate Don. But he also says Ting needs to come and fight for him so they can get more money. When Ting disapproves, Hum Lai insults their village, which compels Ting to punch him. Muai ends their battle right away, but they all have to deal with Peng, who now has more men. Hum Lai, Muai, and Ting all flee after realizing they're outnumbered. Muai eventually finds a hiding place before fleeing. Peng and his men are pursuing Hum Lai and Ting, who eventually must beat them off to escape. Hum Lai then makes the decision to assist Ting in locating Don, and the two of them travel to the fight club, which Hum Lai claims Don visits frequently. When they get there, a battle is already going on, and Don is nowhere to be seen. The current champion, however, is once more drawn to Ting and requests a battle. The man beats a Thai man and a waitress at the bar to tease him, but Ting doesn't appear to be amused. Ting then appears to become enraged and enters the combat circle, where he defeats the champion and a few other men before being again challenged by them. After finishing, he finally sees Don, who can flee before Ting can get to him. When Ting, Hum Lai, and Muai decide to eat, Humlai discusses assisting Ting in finding Dan while they're there. After that, Ting and Humlai depart for their respective homes. That evening, before going to bed, Humlai picks up his father's letter again and reads the section where his father invites him to return and receive monk ordination. The following day, Dan is enraged with a girl in his room and gives her some heroin. He opens his door unknowingly when he hears a knock and notices a woman there. The woman is with Humlai and Ting, who calls Dan right away. On the other hand, Humlai worries about the woman who is currently overdosing and passing away. Finally able to escape, Dan orders the drivers to beat up Ting, who is just about to descend. After requesting assistance for the dying woman in the room from the receptionist, Humlai also leaves the building. When he does, he's able to steal a car and rescue Ting before anything bad can happen to him. The horsemen, nonetheless, continue to pursue them. Then, after finally reaching Dan, Humlai and Ting are able to take control of his car despite Dan's attempts to crash them. His team of riders shows up after he takes off, and together they pursue Ting and Humlai once more before Ting and Humlai can do anything to him. Both men drive everybody away, with Ting eventually catching up to Dan. Despite this, Dan just so happens to ride into the water where he could manage to flee. Ting would then observe a number of artifacts submerged in the water, which the police would later find and collect. Kum Tao is not too happy with Dan in another place because he unintentionally brought Ting to the underwater artifacts. Dan then says that Ting is simply after the Ong-Bak head. The Buddhist head is then shown to Humlai and Moi, who are then imprisoned and sent to meet Kum Tao. Kum Tao informs them that they can only obtain the Buddhist head if they can persuade Ting to challenge his bodyguard Sammy in a competition to win Ong-Bak's head. Humlai is able to convince Ting, who is prepared to go to any lengths to get back the Buddhist head, and he subsequently releases Humlai while holding Moi. The fight is quickly set up, and while Ting is getting ready by putting ropes around his arms, Saming administers a supplement to himself. Ting strikes initially in the fight, but nothing stops Saming, who suddenly strikes Ting hard. Following the fight, Kum Tao is escorted to Ting and Humlai. There he gives Humlai some money for helping to persuade Ting to fight and hands Ting a box that he claims contains the head of Ong-Bak. However, the box is empty, forcing Ting and Humlai to continue fighting. They're defeated before they can act, and Kum Tao declares that they'll never recover it. He then departs and orders his guards to kill the soldiers and Moi as well. Ting and Humlai are ultimately able to free themselves as Kum Tao departs, saving Moi as well. A struggle then breaks out, finishing with Ting beating Dan and inquiring where the Buddhist head is. After Dan informs him that it's at a cave close to the mount, he immediately decides to go. Moi approaches him and offers to go with him, but he declines. However, Humlai successfully persuades Ting to go along, and the two of them ride out on a bike together. Ting easily defeats the guards at the cave's entrance when they arrive, and Humlai is also able to assist. Ting quickly begins working with Kum Tao and Saming, observe as another artifact is hauled down inside the cave. Ting defeats numerous guards, and Humlai, despite suffering damage in the process, is able to ride when Ting needs assistance. And Ting eventually consumes the herbs that the village monk gave him. Then Ting and Saming engage in a rematch, with Ting emerging victorious. Saming, though, is unwilling to let go. He injects himself with multiple of his regular vitamins as a result. With this, he can fight back, but Ting is too strong for him. Ting approaches Kum Tao while appearing to move out of the way, but Kum Tao shoots him before he can fire again. As Ong-Bak's head is about to be secured by Humlai, who has arrived to assist, Saming is still invigorated, appears out of nowhere and defeats him. When Ting steps in to help, he makes sure to kill Saming, violently this time. With nothing more to lose, Kum Tao tries to smash the Buddhist head with this. However, just as he's about to do so, Humlai blocks it with his body and is repeatedly struck with a heavy hammer. The enormous Buddhist head in the cave then unexpectedly slips out of position and crushes Kum Tao as he prepares to kill him. Saming manages to escape the danger, but some debris still hits him, gravely hurting him. Then Ting succeeds in preserving Ong-Bak's head. He then reaches for Humlai, who instructs him to ensure that he return it to the village. At this point, Moi enters and attempts to assist as well, but Humlai advises her to concentrate on her studies and find a solid profession. Moi becomes furious since it appears like he's giving a dying speech, and she yells continuously while attempting to revive him. But this is insufficient as he abruptly stops speaking. The Ong-Bak's head is brought back to the hamlet, where the locals rejoice over the event. Also, Humlai is alive and has been ordained as a monk. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, and subscribe.